Forgive me. I'm so sorry. So
Well,
sorry.
I didn't know what happened. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm okay. Don't worry about it. We'll continue on.
Does it
All
say
right.
live?
Huh?
Okay, it's live. You're live.
We're live. This is part two. We got a little interruption there, but Tina's going to fix that and put these back together. So we just did internal and external rotation of our hips. Now we're going to work the back side of the hips. And this is
I'm afraid to leave it now.
what?
Oh, let me mute. Oh, sorry.
All right, we're going to work the glutes, the back side of the hips. So this is where I kind of want you to have a yoga block or a pillow to put between your knees, just something to hold on to. Let's work our abdominals as we roll down to the floor. So always when you're going down to the floor, try to take this opportunity to just take it one vertebrae at a time. Just think of laying the spine down on the floor, roll it down, pull the abdominals in tight. Just go as slow and controlled as you can. And as you get closer to the floor, it usually goes a little bit quicker, but that's okay. And now we're nicely lined up on the floor. So we've got a block between our knees. Let's plant our feet on the floor. And we're going to be very mindful of what's happening in our glutes, which to me is the back side of your hips. And what we're going to do is we're going to just put our hands down along beside us. Go ahead, relax your shoulders, pull them down away from your ears, and give me a gentle squeeze of this yoga block. Now I want you to squeeze your glutes together. Squeeze real hard while we're just laying here on the floor. Now keep that squeeze, and I want you to think of your hip bones as little pointers that are going to send up to the ceiling. So squeeze and now lift the hip bones, lift this up to the ceiling as you're squeezing. Keep squeezing, keep squeezing, keep squeezing. Now don't let that squeeze go. Keep squeezing on the downside. So this is what we call eccentric control. We're slowing it down. We're squeezing, we're squeezing, we're squeezing. And then you release. All right, nice. So let's give it a release for a minute. And let's go back into that squeeze. Squeeze while you're on the floor. So when you're doing bridges, it's always good to start off with your squeeze. Otherwise, you're going to be using your low back to propel yourself, your hips up to the ceiling. We want to use our glutes. We want to squeeze our glutes. We want to lift our hips to the ceiling. And then go ahead and try this. Squeeze as hard as you can and see if you get a little higher lift in those glutes. Once you squeeze that backside, it's going to expand this. And if you get tight hip flexors, it's because we're not squeezing, we're not strong enough on this backside. So squeeze, 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 and lift. Keep that squeeze, keep that squeeze. Try to keep yourself steady as you lower down. Try not to wiggle through this. Good job, good job. Lower it down and release. Now that you've really got your mind in this, let's do it one more time and just see if the harder you squeeze, the higher your hips get without putting any pressure on your low back. So squeeze the glutes, lift the hips, lift the hips, lift the hips. Go ahead and squeeze, 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 and lift, lift, lift. Keep squeezing. Give it that extra squeeze. This is our last one. Keep squeezing as you lower down nice and steady. Keep in control. Be very mindful of your movement here. And release. Now, normally our tendency would be, let's go ahead and squeeze these knees or pull these knees into our chest because we really want to stretch out those glutes. Well, why do we want to stretch them out? They just worked really hard, but we're going to engage the muscles on the front side to let those glutes release on their own without yanking on them. So what I want you to do is I want you to take your left knee, bring it as close to your chest as you can. Once you're there, I want you to take your hand and put it in front of your knee. And then I want you to push your knee into your hand. Your hand is a wall. Push, 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 push. So that's going to shorten these hip flexors. And it's going to allow your glutes to release. And then take it down. Go ahead and extend the leg out long. And let's do that one more time. And notice if your knee gets a little closer to your chest. naturally. Good. Push your knee into your hand. Push your knee into your hand. Push, 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 push. Good job. And then just release and extend it long. Nice. Let's do the other side. We got to be balanced. Go ahead and bring this knee as close as to your chest as you can. And you can monitor. Is it the same as the other side? Maybe not. Go ahead and block your hand or your knee where it is, and then push your knee into your hand. Push. That's going to let those glutes relax on their own. It's going to tell the glutes that we've got hip flexors working here. They can relax. They're off duty right now. Good job. Good job. And then just take it down. Extend it long. One more time. Bring that knee to the chest. See if it got closer. Push your knee into your hand. Push, push, push. Push, push, push. And let those glutes relax. All right. Good job. So this is where I like to use a yoga block, but you can do this flat on the floor. We're going to bring our legs up in the air. I like to set a yoga block right here under my sacrum. Or if you don't have a block and you want a little lift, you can put your hands right under the back of your hips. So I'm going to take my yoga block, maybe, and I'm going to put it right below my low back, right across the back of my hips. And I'm going to bring my knees up and my feet up. Then I'm going to extend my legs as straight as I can get them. So right here, you have an opportunity to pull in your abdominals to help this action. From here, I want you to gently point your feet. So I want you to think of bringing your heels to the back. I'm sorry, you can't see my heels, but bring your heels to the back of your calves. I don't want you to think of, and then I want you to flex your feet by bringing the top of your feet towards your shin. So it's the top of your foot here comes towards your shin. When you flex, I want you to think of your heel coming towards your calf. Leave the toes out of it. Let's get this movement from the ankle joint. So keep that in mind as I'm talking you through this. So go ahead and point your feet, heel to the calf. Open your legs out wide. Flex your feet and squeeze your legs back together like you've got a beach ball or something in between your legs. Point your feet. Open out wide. Flex your feet and squeeze. Pull the abdominals in. Squeeze everything together. Let's point and open out wide. And flex and squeeze it back together. And do it again. Point, open out wide. And flex and squeeze everything back together. All right, go ahead and bend your knees. Bring it down, and let's go ahead and take our yoga block out. So now we're going to increase our external rotation in our hip, and this is we're going to do this a little differently than you might have seen. This is not a stretch; it's an active movement that's going to increase strength in your hip. So I want you to take your left leg, place your left ankle above your right knee. And normal tendency would be go like this and stretch everything out. Well, like we did before, we're not going to stretch. We're going to incorporate strength in this hip. So what I want you to do, if you have a strap or a towel, you could loop it around your leg. We're not going to do that today, but it's a great opportunity to do this way. I'm just going to have you gently place your hand on the outside of your leg. And I want you to open your leg out into your hand. Open it out into your hand. Now, from here, your hand's going to give it a little resistance, but keep pushing that leg open through that hand. Open it through the hand, and we're working these muscles on the backside of our hip. They're shortening. They're your external rotators, and they're strengthening themselves so they can hold your hip in place, so they can have nice mobility through the hip. So you're pushing your leg open, not with your hand, but with the muscles on the back side of your glute. So release it. Now you can do this without your hand being involved. All you're doing is you're opening this knee out as far as it'll go, but I want you to think of squeezing back here on the back side, and the muscles right back here are opening up your leg. Open it up, squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it. But if you want to add resistance into that, then you put your hand there, or you'll have a strap or a loop that you can loop through here and hold and push into that loop. Good job. Let's do the other side. So you're going to take your right ankle, you're going to place it at your left knee, and once again, we're just going to turn that knee away from our body, using the back side of the hip to do the movement. We're not pushing it, we're not going to yank on it, but we're going to put our hand, if you want resistance, put your hand behind that leg, push that leg into the hand, open that hip up, open that hip up, and release it. Let's do that one more time on this side. So open it out, open it out, open it out. Remember, if you have a strap, you're holding on right here, you're pushing it out into that strap to create resistance and to create more strength, just like you would if you were grabbing a barbell to create more resistance in your biceps, doing a bicep curl, something like that. And then release. All right, so let's finish this up by just loosening up the spine. We're going to go to hands and knees. And I want you to get in your nice tabletop position. So a nice table has sturdy legs, right? And a nice flat top. So go ahead and place your hands directly under your shoulders. Your knees are directly under your hips. And from here, flatten your feet and drop your chin to your chest. And push your spine as high up to the ceiling as you can. Push it up, push it up, push it up. Bring that navel high up into your spine. Open up the spine. Now, I want you to stay in this rounded position, and I want you to push back to your heels. Push your hips back to your heels as you're staying rounded. Stay rounded. Nice arch in the back. Now, relax the back, relax the belly. Drop the elbows to the floor. Lift the chin. Scoop your chest up through your arms and come back up. Let's do that one more time. Round the back to the ceiling. Push yourself back to your heels. Push back, opening up the spine, dropping the elbows to the floor. Slide your chest up through here and come back to center. All right, guys, I hope you got some moves. I hope you picked 1, 2, 3, all of these moves, incorporate them into your everyday routine because they feel so good to your body and they are strengthening your body. Thank you.